Nail Soup Media. We specialize in websites, web communities, and internet products.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, so let's say like River Glen, right? That's a good area, and the pricing's good, right? River Green or River Landing,
River Landing is where I just sold that big house.
right?
Yeah.
So who do you know who bought it? Who's the person the person?
Actually, someone who lived in Fieldstone Farms, the subdivision right next door. She sold her house and moved into this house because it was a step-up neighborhood.
And why is it a step up neighborhood?
Um, bigger lots and bigger homes, smaller neighborhood. Compared to Fieldstone Farms, there's like 600 homes in Fieldstone Farms. This is more like, 100.
Right. Okay, but that's not
It's
why.
bigger, more prestigious homes. Really.
Okay, but that's too. That doesn't do anything. It doesn't say like prestigious, bigger and prestigious. So I made a Costco warehouse and I put a gold doorknob on the front door. What is it that makes it to where, you know,
Well, the square footage of the houses are larger. You can't get a house that size where she was living. So, in her particular case, it's the same school, it's everything. It's just like 2 blocks over. So,
okay.
I don't know.
All right. Well, no, we're gonna talk about it. So the combination, like from Fieldstone Farms to River Landing, right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of, it's bigger and better in relation to floor plans. Are the floor plans different between the two? Is there a?
Well, it's a more, it's not a first-time home buyer neighborhood, where Fieldstone Farms is. It's high-end priced, or, so, for in this example, because she bought it, she was upgrading. She was stepping up and getting, 1,200 more square feet and a quieter, smaller, more exclusive neighborhood. The homes were, built around the same time, as Fieldstone Farms, but they were just more, I don't know, prestigious. It'd be where some really, football player might go in there and buy, because it's more private, bigger lot.
Okay, so it's private, bigger lot, but like, I remember when I bought a house way back when, and it was like, I can't remember the names, but it was like Beazer versus Centex or something, and Centex was like, the garages weren't insulated. They, like, you could see the studs in the wall. You could see, the stuff.
Right.
Right. Like the kitchens were the grade of appliances. The countertops were Corian or whatever the thing is.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So that's what we have to get more into as far as that's concerned. So basically, a question would be, I'm thinking about buying a home in West Haven or River Landing. Why would I buy? What are the pros and cons of each? That would be a question.
Okay.
Because that's what someone's asking themselves. Why would I buy, Beazer versus Centex? And well, the Centex, in that particular area, the houses are closer together. It's more like a cookie cutter kind of thing. The Beazer home, you've got more of a more space, more of a community. And the properties, they just have the better materials, and the floor plan has it to where you have, a sitting room out front, which is, and the way the front door in the sitting room is, it gives you privacy where people just can't look through your house and look at, without going in the backyard to be able to see who's inside. There's also, there's the appliances are better, the construction's better. So when your significant other is running the dishwasher, you don't hear it all the way up in the bedroom. And it's because of how things are positioned. The floor plan has it to where you have a split bedroom, so you could have someone, an in-law or a provider, a care provider, in one part of the house, and it gives them some privacy. So West Haven versus River Landing. Yeah.
Right.
That's the thing. Now, West Haven, it's a great community. There's a lot of people there, but it's just the differences are a little less. And like the floor plan is different, and you may like that. And maybe a floor plan you would go, well, I prefer this, so you're good there. The other is that the appliances and some of the things you just may not notice, and that is why West Haven is perfect for you, because why spend all that money if it's sort of like a hi-fi sound system, why pay for it if you're not gonna notice a difference? So that's the difference between the two. Boom.
Right.
And that, because that's what people that solves all the stuff. It solves the you're offering solutions. You're showing them that you know how to think, by picking it apart, and so that's the one thing. Now, the other day we talked about, it's like, what questions should how should I do the questions? And in it I talked about our old stomping ground of San Diego, and it's like and I'm recording this just so you have, but basically it's like. Should I buy in Escondido or Del Mar? Well, it depends on where your commute times are. Where do you work? Because if it's downtown, then Del Mar, because Escondido is just going to take forever. But if it's up closer, if it's in San Marcos, then it's equal for Del Mar and Escondido, because you can take the back roads and get pretty quickly. You can get to your job. Now, Escondido comes from a town. The town. Like cow town or farm thing that's now come into its own, by through the years of development. Del Mar has been a beach town, and it's affluent. There's affluent parts of Escondido, but the lifestyles are very different, and that's what I would look at and say, okay, now we're in Franklin. What place is like Escondido and what place is like Del Mar, and let's compare those two, and we keep comparing. Just like you did West Haven and River Landing, now do a couple more like that, a couple more developments like that, and then a couple more, areas. Like why, like look at where you went to. Aspen Grove to where are you now? Columbia.
Yeah.
Okay, so two different lifestyles, different price points. You just said that on the phone just before we started recording about how now that you're over there, you see things, differently. So that's sort of the thing, we're considering buying here or here. What's the best? We're considering buying here or here. We're thinking about this or this, which is best. And those are the questions that we need, because if we had that, then, we would be good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. I mean, I suppose you could, you could put a lot of questions like this or this out there. I mean, those are easy to answer, but really, so I guess it makes it pretty simple.
Right. Except I personally can't put them out there because I don't know the areas that are hot. I don't know, like you. That's why you got to think about it and then make a list. Like, okay, difference between these two, these things, and then basically, that's another way. Now the other is. When is good to sell? And that question, what you do is you look at the inventory, and you look at, historically, where there has been dips or where there currently is low inventory, and you base it on the type of property that you're looking at. So an example, I had someone in Florida who they were telling me that 3-bedroom, 2-bath with indoor pool in a particular subdivision was historically low in inventory. And so what we did is we put a question in there and basically says, hey, I'm looking, I own a property in this subdivision, 3-bedroom, 2-bath with pool, and I need to know, when would be a good time to sell, and what are they selling for these days? So the agent's answer was like, well, I know that area, I do business there, and I'm familiar with it, and here is a link to go to that will give you, 3-bedroom, 2-bath with indoor pool in your community. You can click on that link anytime you want to check inventory to see what they're selling for. Now, what they did is they took that and they got the client who's asking that question and anyone else who wants to know. They then go to the my client's website and they click on that link. After so long, after coming back a few times, they'll then after a few searches, it'll pop up with, hey, why not register to get when properties come available, and now the seller or the lukewarm seller is on a list, and basically, you're able to, they'll get pushed notifications,
Right.
hey, new property here.
So what, are they making a link of just their website, or are they going to their website and pulling up a similar house, or are you just doing just a blanket link to the website so they can go on and find it?
No. Exactly what I just said. When you hear the recording, you hear what I said. Is that basically it's a thing like, hey, question person, here's a link for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with pool in your community. Here's what's available for sale right now. It's a link, specific link for their needs.
Right.
And then
Okay.
they keep clicking on it, and then after a while, like what'll happen is after like one day, like let's say they go once and they look and there's 3 properties, and it's like, oh, okay, and then all of a sudden there's a couple more properties or what have you, and they click on it a few times, and then the lead capture pops in and says, hey, get notified. Then they get notified, of stuff like that, and then now you've got them where you're like, okay, and maybe something pops up. And see, what's nice with you is that you've got Benchmark's private group that all of a sudden, someone says, hey, I got a property, out here in the Franklin Meadows, and it's 3-bedroom, 2-bath, sorry. Hey, I got a client that needs a property, in this, and then you can go, hey, listen, not trying to bug you, I'm with Benchmark, 600 agents. We have private deals all the time, and that's probably a video that you should make as well. Say, why should you contact me? Well, I'm part of the Benchmark network, and we have properties that sell before they even get to get an MLS number, because we have 600 agents and we're all talking to each other. So then when you go and contact the possible seller, say, hey, listen, here's something. I just got word, because I have 600 agents in a private group. We're all talking to each other. They need someone. They need a property. Sorry, not someone. They need a property in the area, and it fits what you have. What you're looking for. If you're selling, it shows that you might be selling sometime soon. The blah blah blah, and then you try and hook them up, and then
Right.
but you do not. You don't go after them. You say, hey, I'm not going to bug you, because then what they do is they just take themselves off the list and
Right.
stuff like that. So,
Right.
so you want to treat that really gingerly versus, the others. So,
Gotcha.
so then you make, is that your cat?
Yeah.
See, if the cat agrees, you got to do it. So that's the role. So the thing is that so at that point, then you want to go. It's like, okay, what markets, like what style of homes can be unique enough where I can get a search done, and then we go from there. Get it to where you do like 10 of those, and then as things pop up, you're like, oh, like someone in Benchmark says, hey, I need a property that has this and this. Then you send it to me. We put a question in and say, hey, we're looking for, and then you say, hey, listen, because of my Benchmark network, I have someone that's interested.
Gotcha. Well, so like you mean like when someone, like on our Benchmark Facebook, an agent will get on and say, hey, I've got clients coming into town. I need blah, blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have anything? That would be a good question.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. And then we make it to where, we can even make it to where someone's like, hey, I'm looking for this type of home. And then you go, yeah, I just, because of my Benchmark network, I've got an agent who wants that as one of my fellow agents wants that as well. It's a really good thing, and if you want to see what's available for sale, and this is good for you, the buyer, or if you're thinking about listing your property, here's a link for this type of property in this subdivision that you can just check back without any obligation and just see what's available. And when the market gets low enough, then you want to contact a real estate agent and think about listing your property. And that's the ambassador side. That's where you're not like, contact me because I'm gonna blah 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 blah. You want to keep the ambassador side of it, so that way they contact you. So
okay, all right. I got enough to do now.
All right. Okay. So
you're gonna send me all that stuff, the recordings, right?
Yep. I'm stopping it.